So we can differentiate along different axes. So for example, we could differentiate the content, right? So we could say different students are working on different content at a given time. We could differentiate based on the process or the ways in which they're approaching that learning and the ways in which they're engaging with the material. We can differentiate based on the products. How are they showing us what they know? We can also differentiate based on pacing. So some students might, take a slower approach, but still be working through the material in a way that's conducive for their own learning. And some students might work faster. And so differentiation allows us to accommodate different students' pacing as well. If we're going to differentiate based on the product, we could say we want all the students to show what it is that they've learned about a given topic. So say that we're learning about living spaces, about homes, about houses, about apartments. We can give choices, right? So giving choice is a big component of differentiated instruction. We could say, I want to see from every student that they can show me what they know. They can use vocabulary about living spaces. They can talk about living spaces in the target language or write about it. One student might choose to write an advertisement for an apartment. One student might choose to give a tour of their home. Another student might choose to describe what their dream house would look like and what their dream house would contain. So in that case, we could say that the content is the same. Students are all showing that they can write or speak about living spaces, but the exact form that takes might be different, and that will accommodate different students' interests, different students' abilities, and give everybody a way in that excites them. If someone wants to try out differentiated instruction and see how it can work in their own classroom, it doesn't have to mean doing it all at once. There can be some low time commitment, low prep ways of starting off with differentiated instruction and beginning to implement it. For example, that might be something like flexible seating, purposely seating students in different configurations based on the given activity or task at hand. Another example of a low prep way in would be to give different options for products that students might be producing at the end of a unit or at the end of a course, where instead of saying everybody is going to create a tour of their own home, they might say, well, you have several different options of how you want to show your knowledge about how to talk about living spaces in the target language, and give students even 2 or 3 or 4 options. That's a way of starting off with differentiated instruction. So while it might seem intimidating, it doesn't have to be an immediate overhaul of the way that somebody teaches. They could start small and grow one step at a time. Another challenge in implementing differentiated instruction is that a teacher might feel that they have to be in more than one place at one time. If different students are doing different activities, say there are different learning centers and students can rotate through the room to do different activities, it might seem like that's calling on a teacher to be everywhere at once. Instead, the way that I would reconceive of this issue is to say, when we're differentiating our instruction, we are putting the learning more into students' hands. So that a teacher might rotate through the room, and at some moments, students at a given learning center or doing a given activity might be on their own for a little bit and have the teacher come around and check on them at different moments. Another way of thinking about this is to say readiness to learn. Say that a teacher splits the class into 2 groups. One group is ready to jump into the activity right away, and the other group might need a little mini lesson of the material before jumping into the activity. So the group that's ready to get started right away can start on their own, while the teacher provides a mini lesson to the second group and gets them started. So it doesn't ask the teacher to be everywhere at once. It does put the learning more in the hands of students.